Welcome back, everybody. I'm Hydro Mike, and this is Coding with Hydro. Our last episode, we actually started some functionality in our game. Everybody, it's Hydro Mike again. This video is going to have a lot of these cuts where I'm cutting out struggle bus moments, which you'll see. I'll explain again later as I'm doing it. But this time I just cut out a bunch of rambling here at the beginning that really didn't help you. What we're going to start in here is learning or trying to draw a border around the screen, and that's really all we're going to finish in this video. I struggle bust on it really hard, but that's how it is. So if we now go into Zoom, what we want to do is first we want to tackle the border on the screen. In the border, I'm going to create a new class and call it lines, just because I want to use this class to create a border, and I also want to use the same class to create the grid. So first things first, let's name it class. We're going to call it lines. Just like our square class. What do we need? We need it's an initializing statement. So define space underscore init. And that's just, I think it's in other languages called its constructor, but I'm calling it the initialization statement because that's what makes sense to me. And this video is all about making things make sense. If you've watched any of my other videos, I've said some stuff that aren't right. Like I said animation several times. Like, why am I saying animation? Well, in my head I got going thinking about frames, and every frame I want something to redraw, and my head went, oh, it's the animation. But what I meant was every frame of the game, every loop of the game, I want things to get redrawn. Which, in the end of the day, if you think about it, it's actually just how animations work too. But, okay, I digress again. What do our lines need? Well, if we go to Pygame, right? This is pygame.org. This is what I was saying. If you go here, you can learn all kinds of stuff about, what you can do in Pygame. But we were interested in line. You can also see we can also do lines, which is basically you can draw a point, draw another point, draw a line between them, draw another point, draw a line between them, which could be a variable or a valuable option. But we're going to just do one line at a time here. In pygame.draw.line, what does it need? It needs the surface, which for us will be screen, right? That's the surface we created. That's our game window, right? It needs a color, which we're just going to make white. And we already made a variable that is white, so there we go. A starting position, so an X, Y coordinate of where I want the line to start. An end position, just the X, Y coordinates of where I want the end of the line to be. And then the width. I can't remember if it's the width. I think is just it's just the thickness of the line. How many pixels thick do we want the line? So here we go. I'm gonna have to pass in what? The X and Y location, right? The start X. Like these are right. These are, remember, right? I'm just making these up so I know what I'm talking about when I start passing in values. All right, so I'm gonna need a starting position, right? So I'm gonna call that start X, and then we're gonna call it end X. And I'm not going to bother passing in the screen information because, well, we only have one screen. That's where it's going to draw to. So I don't need to pass that in. That's going to be the exact same for anything, any of these lines I draw. So what else did I need? A width. Yeah, we'll pass in a width too. That's just going to be the thickness. I'm just going to call it thickness. That's a long name for a variable, but whatever. So I got the start, and the thickness and color. Oh yeah, there was color as well. And since we used C already for color, we're just going to use C again just to make it obvious. So what do we do now? Now we just have to make some self.values that we can use these variables that we're going to pass in inside our class. So we're just going to make them really simple here. Self.start x equals what? Start x, right? And that's just saying anything I pass in this position, this self.startx is going to equal, right? So we're going to do this. We can do this for all of them. Self.endx, equals endx. Self.thickness equals thickness. And then C equals, or self.c, yeah, self.c, equals C, right? So now I can put in this information each time I create a line. I can pass it in to create several lines with this thing, and we can do it maybe with a loop of some sort. Like I want to draw 4 lines, so I can make a loop that runs 4 times that draws each line each time. But we're going to do it manually first, and then we'll get into the for loops eventually, especially when we start creating cars and stuff. But okay, now what do I need? I just need it. Now I have all the information to create a line, so now we just need to draw the line now, right? So I'm gonna make a little function inside of it called draw. Again, I could call this whatever I want, but draw makes sense, right? So now what do I want to do to draw the line? It said it was, jeez, man, sorry, pg dot draw. Remember, PG is me importing Pygame as PG. Dot line, right? And even here it tells me it needs a surface, color, position, and a width. So it's surface, screen, right? Screen is our variable. It is holding, right? Screen is holding our surface information for our game window. Now it needs a start position. We're just going to call it self.startx, right? And now its end position is, self.endx. Now what does it need? Oh, the color. The color was after, in the order of operations for the draw line method. We need it go surface, color, start, end, width. So my color for the lines now are just going to be white. Remember, we made a variable called white, so I can just use white in this instance. Now we need the width. We're just going to say, we'll say 2 for now. Oh, what am I doing? I made a variable for that. Self.thickness. There we go. Man, that was a struggle already. Sorry, it is 12:03 in the morning. I would normally be at work right now, but I have the night off. So I'm a little sleepy-eyed, a little stupid at the moment. Sorry. So we've made a class. We've made some variables that we can pass in. And then we just made a simple draw function inside of that class to use the variables we pass in to draw our lines at certain positions, right? So, just like down here where we did the frog in the car, we're going to create our first line, and I'm going to call it, for now, like I said, we could do this all in one file swoop with like a for statement or something, but I'm going to draw each line individually first using the class, and then we're going to experiment how to do it differently. So, we're going to say top line, or top border. Let's call it border. That makes sense. Equals. Now remember, top border is just something I'm making up, right? It's going to equal what? Aligns class. And so what did we need to pass in? First, we need to pass in its starting location. So if it's going to be the top line, we got to say it. The top line will go from XY0 to what? X600 Y0, right? That makes sense. So the start position will be, I think it has to be in parentheses as well. Maybe not. Yeah, I think it has to be the XY location of the start, the XY location of the end. So it has to be inside the parentheses. So we're going to say it starts at 0, 0, right? 0, 0 would be the very top left of our game window. So we're going to say 0, 0. Now we'll stay in parentheses, and now we move on to our end. Where do we want it to end? We want it to end all the way over here, right? Well, why can't you guys see that? Oh, because you're all zoomed in. All right, we'll use this little section here. Let's say this is the. I'll just run this stupid thing here, so you guys can. Oh, I got an error because I didn't finish my lines, so I can't even do that. All right. Desperate measures here. All right. This top left corner right here, right, would be 0, 0, X0, Y0. So this top right corner over here would be what? It would be, let's do it one at a time. My X, right, runs across the top, and we said anything to the right is a positive, so this is X0 all the way through X600, because that's what we made our game window. So X all the way over here will be 600. So this is going to be 600. Now our Y location, right, is what starts here is Y0 all the way down to the bottom here is Y600. So if we want to draw a line right here, from here to here, its ending point should be what? X600 Y0. Or sorry, 0. Yes, 0. No, yes, 0. Because remember, the Y is 0. The top all the way up here is 0. So yes, it would be X600 Y0. See, even this stuff confuses me all the time. There we go. So that should be the start. Starting at XY0, ending at XY6. 0, 0, and now thickness was the next one, right? Oh wow, this is wrong here too, right? So I said I was going to pass in a color. Even though I'm trying to make these ones white, I may not want them all white. This is supposed to be self.c, so if I do pass in something different, I can change the color of it. Man, this is not going so well. Alright, so it's thickness is next. So for its thickness, we're just going to say 2, and then its color, we're going to say white. Man, that was a struggle for just a simple line. So we've created a line class, created some variables that we're going to pass in each time we make a line, and with that information we pass in, and we're going to want you to draw with this information. We created something called the top border, and it's going to be a line at XY00, XY600 by 600, 0, a thickness of 2, and a color of white. And now down here we have to say we're going to have these drawn first. And we're going to say top border dot draw, right? That's what I named that function inside the class, right? Excuse me, I named it so draw. We should have the top border. Please, Lord, let me have the top border. No, what did we do wrong? Line says no attribute start X. Oh, start X. Run. Oh, we got an error. Hello everybody, it's Hydro Mike. At this point I'm going to cut the video because as you see it had an error. Turns out it took me a minute to figure it, out why, but it turns out there was nothing wrong. My computer just literally doo-dooed itself for a second. So I'm going to cut out the whole section of me trying to figure out what went wrong. Alright, back into it. Oh. It's there now, I think. Let's go to the other view to see if it's... Yeah, it is there. Is it because I made the... It might be because of the border width here. Dealio. That I made 2? Maybe it can't be 2. Maybe 2 is not what I'm thinking it is. Let's try to run it again. No? It worked. I don't know why it didn't work the first time. I didn't change anything. I guess it just hiccuped. Or my computer pooped on itself for a second. I don't know. Okay. So there we go. That was confusing. But we did everything right. It just didn't work the first time. So there we have our top border. And to prove that, I will just go back here. And there you go. We have our top border that you guys can now see. Alright, let's go back. And now we're going to do the same exact thing, except we're going to call it left border. I'm just going to copy this down, hit V, and now our starting position again for left border. Oops, I don't want to capitalize that. It's going to tell me it's wrong all the time. It's again going to be 0, 0, right? And now our end position, X coordinate, is going to be what? All the way to the left on the X coordinate is 0. So X is going to be 0. All the way to the bottom though is what? Y 600. And just thinking about this too, I should be using the variables we've created. Right? 0 is fine. 0, no matter how big I make our screen, 0 is always going to be a 0. But for these 600s, in this case, the top border, this should be width, right? So if I do change the width later, this will scale appropriately. In here, this one is talking about the height. I should make it height. So now if I make my screen 800 by 600, these lines will draw and stay proportional. Okay, with that said, I should now have a left border. Do I? It's hard to tell in that view. I don't see one, and I don't see one on that view. What did we do wrong? Jeez, guys. One of these days I'll learn. Left border, dot, draw. We'll go back to 2 here. Run it. There we go. Now we have our left border because, hey, I told it to freaking draw. Alright. I'm going to press on and do the bottom and right side, and then we'll view it again. So, again, we're going to copy that, and we're going to say bottom. Our bottom should be going from X0, Y 600, right, the very bottom of the screen, all the way to the left. Now it should end at x, what, all the way to the right is x 600, y 600. That should be the complete bottom right corner, right? So now we're going to do the right side. Right should be from the top right corner, which would be x 600, y whoa, wait a minute. Top right corner is y 0. Jeez, see, I'm still confusing myself. And then again, I should be using width and height. I gotta change those already. Alright, and then the bottom should be x. It's all the way to the right, so it's still x 600, but its y is going to be 600, right? It's going to end exactly where the bottom border ends, right? So this is talking about its width. No, let's talk about its height. This is the width. This is height. Anything in the x position, we're talking about its width. Anything in the y position, we're talking about the height. Alright, with any luck, we have a border all the way around, and we don't. Why? I'm sure you guys have already figured it out, because I didn't update them. I didn't tell it to draw them anywhere. So we are just gonna put 2 spots in here, and we're gonna say bottom dot draw right dot draw. And hopefully we have everything. We still don't. What did I do wrong now, this time? What did I do wrong this time? Are these just not on the screen? Well, let's do this this increasing thing here to see if maybe they're just off the screen a little bit. Yeah, they were just off the screen a little bit. Man, see, you're not always wrong, but you're not always right, that's for sure. So, hey everybody, it's Hydro Mike again. We're going to end this video here. We're going to go into trying to get our screen properly proportionate for this grid idea that I have in my head. And then we're also going to try to draw that grid to demonstrate what in my head I'm thinking. The struggle becomes real in the next video. So there'll be a lot of cuts. Like this video had a lot of cuts. I was trying to save some of the times where I was struggling so you guys don't have to suffer through it. But hopefully, maybe at those points you can pause it and try to figure it out yourself before you watch the answer. But yeah, like I said, that's how I learn, is by trying to figure out why it doesn't work, obviously. So thank you for watching. I'm Hydro Mike. You've been watching Hydro Coding. Have a good day.